Some marriages don't end with cheating or shouting. They end when someone learns how to
Richard
weaponize
Evans
fear.
had never feared the woman he married, until the day she looked him in the eyes and said, "You're scaring me." "I'm filing a restraining order." The words just hung in the air. There was no shouting, no violence. It was a calm afternoon, with 2 coffee cups on the table and the quiet hum of the refrigerator. Melissa stood at the sink, wiping the same plate over and over. "We need space," she said. "You're becoming unpredictable." "Unpredictable?" Richard almost laughed. He was a research analyst, methodical, predictable to a fault. But Melissa had changed. Over the past year, there were late nights, hidden texts, and sudden disappearances, strange demands for money, long stretches of coldness that felt like punishments. 2 days later, the restraining order landed. It was official, immediate, and crushing. "Stay 500 feet away from Melissa," the officer recited, "and from the residence." Melissa watched from the doorway, her arms crossed, her face a blank mask. No tears, no remorse, no explanation. Just a woman who had weaponized fear. As Richard packed a single suitcase under police supervision, his mind raced. What had he done? What changed? Why did she suddenly meet him gone? The truth would arrive in pieces, and when the full picture came together, it would reveal a betrayal more calculated than he ever thought her capable of. Richard complied with every restriction. He moved into a rental, avoided their neighborhood, and only communicated through lawyers. But Melissa didn't stop there. She escalated. In a court affidavit dripping with theatrics, she claimed he screamed at her nightly, punched walls, and threatened her. She said she feared for her life. The judge, forced to err on the side of caution, extended the order. Richard sat in that courtroom, stunned by the weight of lies he couldn't comprehend. Why was she doing this? Then the financial statements arrived. Melissa had taken out a $30,000 personal loan in his name, forged his signature, and spent it all in 2 months. Clothes, spa treatments, business coaching, and weekend trips with someone named Ethan. Her plan suddenly clicked into place. Get him legally removed, take out more debt, divorce him, and leave him responsible for everything. But the restraining order had an unintended consequence. Once it was filed, Melissa could no longer access his accounts. She couldn't forge more loans. Her scheme stalled, and she panicked. She called Richard one night from a blocked number. "You ruined everything." "You were supposed to be gone so I could." She cut herself off. Richard exhaled slowly. He didn't need to hear the rest. The truth was already showing its cracks. Richard hired a private attorney, a calm, unflinching woman named Caroline Hargrove, who had seen it all. After reviewing the documents, she closed the folder and said, "Your wife is not afraid of you. She's afraid of losing access to your finances." With Caroline's guidance, they dug deeper. They subpoenaed credit card statements, GPS histories, phone logs, and bank transactions. The findings were damning. Melissa was involved with Ethan, not as a romantic partner, but as an investment coach who preyed on vulnerable clients. He convinced her she was destined for business greatness. She gave him money. He flattered her. She gave him more. When she ran out of her own money, she forged Richard's name for the loan. And when the bank started asking questions, she used the restraining order to create distance, hoping to paint Richard as the unstable one. But Ethan had already moved on to another woman with more savings and fewer questions. The moment Melissa realized she'd been conned, her world began to crumble. 6 weeks later, the restraining order hearing reconvened. Melissa arrived with shaky hands and dark circles under her eyes, looking sleepless and frantic. Richard sat across from her, calm and collected, holding every piece of documented truth. When called to testify, Melissa launched into a dramatic speech. "He scares me. I can't sleep. I'm terrified he'll come to my house," and Carolyn interrupted. Your Honor, the witness's statements contradict her own sworn affidavit, as well as phone records, financial documents, and GPS logs. The judge leaned forward. Explain. Carolyn presented the evidence. Melissa's hotel stays with Ethan. The forged signatures, texts bragging about her business empire, and messages to Ethan saying, "The idiot finally left. I can fix this now." She showed security footage of Melissa's shopping sprees during times she claimed to be in hiding, and evidence she was at bars and restaurants while claiming Richard stalked her. Finally, the judge asked, "Mrs. Evans, do you have any evidence your husband threatened you?" A long, suffocating silence filled the room. Melissa's lip trembled. "No," she whispered. I just didn't want him around. I thought he wouldn't leave otherwise. So you fabricated fear?" The judge asked. Tears streamed down her face. "Yes," the courtroom gasped. The restraining order was immediately dissolved. Fraud charges loomed over Melissa. As she was escorted out, she looked at Richard and said, "I didn't mean for it to go this far, but intentions don't erase wounds. The truth doesn't rescue the liar. It rescues the one they tried to destroy." Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe for more.